Hi guys, Ronnie here. Today I was putting together a Zipp 303 Firecrest clincher wheel set for one of my customers for a very cool upcoming bike build, so you should definitely stay tuned. And since I have a couple of models of 303s here on hand currently, I decided to make a bit of a tribute video, because if you look back at the history of carbon wheels, then I think the 303 is quite an important milestone. First, it was perhaps the very first carbon wheel designed to take on the coupled classics, and that was roughly, I think, 10 years ago when I started designing it for that specific purpose. And they have actually succeeded with Fabian Cancellara and the tubular version of the first 303 full carbon aero wheel, and that was the one that won the Paris-Roubaix for the first time. But aside from that, I have owned just last year at this time I was riding a 303 tubular wheel set, and I really grown to like the 303 model line from Zipp, because honestly I think it's one of the most universal and well-rounded wheel sets on the market. Now, this is the basic Firecrest clincher model, which is still extremely good, but not the most modern or the highest end version. And the main difference from most other carbon rims that sets the 303 apart is mainly its width. Now, nowadays there are many modern wheels that are wider than this, but a couple of years ago it wasn't the case. So this was, I think, the very first wheel that approached the 28mm rim section, and it was done specifically to be able to tackle hard terrain, big hits, and rough roads. So how do they do that? Well, by increasing the width of the rim itself. Actually, you are creating a section with a so-called higher polar moment of inertia. Now, this is quite a bit of an engineering term, but essentially, if you grow your section, you can use thinner walls while maintaining the same resistance to bending, and that's in a lateral direction I'm talking about. So if you touch a rim like this, or any deep section carbon rim, in fact, you can notice that on this part the carbon fiber is very, very thin, and despite that it's very strong. And some people, they say that carbon rims can be harsh. Well, that's true if they're not designed properly, but these are. And if you look at some slow-mo videos from testing these, then you can actually see how much they can deflect upon impact, and that's very important when riding cobbles and riding rough terrain. And it's since that is more of a trend today, more and more companies have adopted this design or something similar. Another important feature of the actual width of the rim is aerodynamic stability. So basically it makes the wheels easier to design in a way that they can handle crosswinds very well, which is definitely the case for the 303s. With my pair, when I still had them, I couldn't really find any wind that will be strong enough to put them offline, even at my very low weight. So that's good. And then, of course, if you have a wider rim, you can put on a wider tire without making any compromises in aerodynamics. So yeah, this is the 303 Firecrest, sort of a base model now, but actually the range of the 303 has grown by a huge amount. And we've got the 302 now, which is the more budget-oriented version of essentially the same wheel set. I have made a quick first look video on that a couple of months ago, so you can check that out. Then we have the rim brake NSW version. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to put my hands on those, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're a very, very good wheel set based on my experiences with other NSW wheels. Then I've had the tubular versions, as I've mentioned, so that is basically still what Zipp sponsored riders ride 99% of the time on the road or on the cross course. So a good all-rounder, very low weight thanks to the tubular construction. And I would say the aerodynamics beat some lesser designed 80mm rims. So they're definitely one of my favorites. In fact, sometimes I regret a bit that I sold them, but anyway, let's just move on. And now that the cross season is on, I'm again basically on a pair of 303s, or two pairs in fact, but let's just not go too far forward. So this is a more modern iteration of the 303, and what's different is that it's disc brake specific, so no brake track. The dimples go all the way through the tire, so yeah, the hubs are disc brake specific as well, and the rim width is now tailored to even wide tires. Well, they're not super aero with a cross tire on, of course, they're not wide enough for that, but they've grown from sort of 30mm, or sorry, 28mm to 30mm, so now they actually test fastest with a 28mm tire on. So that's the step where the bike industry is heading. They're also tubeless compatible, which is another neat feature, and that just shows all kind of the progress that we're making here, and the fact that yeah, it's a good all-rounder. It's good for cobbles, it's good for mountains, it's good for criteriums and cross courses as well. Now the reason people use these deeper section wheels on cross, it's not that much for aerodynamics. It's more for two things really. So I got a couple of people asking, that's why I'm explaining this. Yeah, the first one I've already mentioned, the deflection. Now this rim, as it's even wider, it has different profile, it can deflect even more. And my previous cross bike was with shallow aluminum wheels, and I can definitely feel the difference in that. So more traction, better puncture protection, better impact protection from the wider rim, more comfy as well. And then when you go through really sloppy mud, then on the box section rim, if you imagine this straight flat surface, the mud just sticks on there on the rim and essentially builds up a section like this. Although in mud that's a lot heavier than in carbon, so with this reel you don't really get any kind of build up in there because it's just too wide, so you'd have to go through extremely thick mud for that to stick on to a profile like this. So these are the two differences, or the two reasons. And yeah, so this is the tubeless Firecrest carbon clincher. And now the latest and greatest of the 303 family is perhaps this. So this is the 303 NSW carbon clincher, so very similar to this one, but it has the special cognition hub set, so you get a smoother freewheeling action, less drag. You get J-bend spokes instead of straight poles, different hubs, special bearings, different kind of dimple pattern, lighter layups, so around 200 grams lighter for the pair, or at least in my case. Imprint graphics, no stickers. Tubeless ready again. Yeah, so if you look at these two kind of wheel sets, they're quite similar, but still there are lots of differences in terms of design, and I think that's where the progress really shows, and I'm excited to see what is next basically. So yeah, If you're after a reliable, tough and fast wheel, then Zipp 303s definitely a good choice. They're not too expensive even nowadays, so compared to MVs, I would say they are quite cheap and definitely good performance. And one more thing, I was stopped at this cross course a while ago when I was training, and a guy came up to me and said that, look, I'm a bit worried you're on these carbon rims. I'm not sure they're strong enough for off-road use. Yeah, they were specifically designed to take that, so carbon wheels are actually stronger in many cases than aluminum rims. And let me just put a comparison here. Airplanes are now made only of composite to be more durable, stronger and lighter. Previously they were made of aluminum, so if that applies to airplanes, then I think it can apply to wheels as well. Okay, so this was a little comparison between these different 303 wheel sets. Now if you like to know more about the specifics of each one, then don't forget to tune into my channel and look up some older videos where I show them in more detail. And also, if you like to know more about the other wheels that I have tried, of which there are quite many, to be honest, so you will definitely find something you will like. Then yeah, don't hesitate and look them up on my channel. It's all for today, thanks for watching and see you next time.